The NFL draft is here, and Trent Dilfer, a very popular guy this time of year. You know a little bit about the quarterback position here, Trent. Let's start with, okay, you're the Cleveland Browns. You're on the clock. Who are you taking number one overall here, Trent?
Oh, so you start with the softball question. I love it. I don't think they can go wrong. I'll qualify by saying that I really love this class. I see the value in each one of these kids. I think Darnold is the guy, not as much for his physical skill set, which is awesome, and it's deserving of the first pick, but it's more his temperament. It's more his competitive makeup. It's more his emotional and kind of mental qualities that he has. He's a natural leader. He's very coachable. He figures stuff out on the fly. He can integrate with a 33-year-old veteran and a rookie from, an SEC school. He can handle the weight, the pressure, the burden of carrying the franchise, the city, the expectations. Like, this kid's got that no flinch, nothing phases him, success or failure mentality. And I think that's as important as any conversation when we're talking about who's the first pick of the draft. I mean, Troy Aikman wasn't very good his rookie year, right? He went through some hard stuff in Dallas. He watched his football life or watch any story of the Cowboys. But it was his grit, his determination, his leadership, his character that helped carry him through those times. Peyton Manning throws 30 interceptions his rookie year, but he doesn't flinch, right? He carries the weight of the Indianapolis Colts on his shoulders and has that mentality to survive so that he can thrive. I mean, I think that's the conversation around the first pick. Do you have the makeup to survive long enough so that at one point you will thrive?
Do you worry at all about his hand size? Like, I'm seeing a lot about that right now. He's got small hands. That's why he fumbled a ton. I mean, is that a fair criticism?
Well, he doesn't fumble because he has small hands. He fumbles because he's careless with his mechanics, his ball security mechanics in the pocket. I'm indifferent on hand size. We actually use it as a metric to evaluate young quarterbacks. There is an advantage in having big, strong hands. There's no doubt, but it's not necessarily a death sentence if you don't have big hands. Tom Brady doesn't have big hands. He's probably the most ball-secure quarterback we've ever seen in the league. So I don't think it's the right conversation. Now, Sam's a fumbler, and it's a problem. It's a big problem, and I've chewed his butt for it because he's careless, and he needs a coach that trains his pocket ball security like Tom Brady trains it every day. Where you protect the ball with your shoulders, not your hands. It's how you move and slide and wiggle in the pocket.
When you tell Sam Darnold you fumbled too much, like, how is he open to it? I mean, how does that conversation go?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what's unique about Sam is he doesn't think he's a finished product. Sorry.
Yeah.
He understands there's growth and development that's got to take place. He embraces hard coaching. He wants to get better. This is a kid, you got to remember, he played 3 games his junior year in high school. He had a broken ankle, so he wasn't recruited. I got him into Elite 11 off of basketball film. So he's constantly learning. He didn't have this upbringing of a lot of these quarterbacks. He's still learning every single time he plays a snap and practice in a game. And what you got to love about that is you see how he's grown in every element of his game over a short amount of time at USC. You got to believe that he can fix something like the fumbling problem.
Would you look at him as, hey, if things go right, you should start week 1, or is that too much?
Listen, I know I'm an outlier here. I don't think any of them should start day one. That's just and I know there's some that have succeeded doing it. I think these guys are in a really good position because they have starters ahead of them at each team that's probably going to draft a quarterback that can play at a high level and give these kids time to learn and grow. Now, if that organization disagrees with my philosophy, which they probably do, and they throw him out there early, I think Sam has the survival skills and the figure-it-outness to play at a high enough level to help his team win and to grow as a player during the process.
Trent Dilfer working with Panini. We'll get there in a second. All right, so you got Darnold to the Browns. What do you do if you're the New York Giants? You taking a quarterback?
No, I'm a big Davis Webb fan, so I think they have their future starter in Davis Webb behind Eli. I think they're in a great position to take the runner, Barkley, or take the defensive end, Chubb, or trade back and still maybe get one of those guys. I think they have the ability to do that. I think to me, the key pick is 3 at the Jets. I think that is, to me, it's a no-brainer. It's Rosen. I think he's the perfect fit for New York. He's the perfect fit for offensive coordinator Jeremy Bates. He'll thrive in the big city. He'll thrive with that system. But if he doesn't go there, it's going to be really interesting what happens at 3 with the Jets.
Does he at all remind you, like some are comparing him to a young Aaron Rodgers that's about as tall as it can go in a comparison, but does that ring true at all?
Yeah, I think I started that narrative on that comparison. Yeah, they're very similar. I've known Aaron since he was in college, worked out with him when he was at Cal. We had the same coach in Jeff Tedford. Aaron is incredibly smart, a perfectionist, wants to know the why and the what behind everything. That's why he's been so great in the NFL. Also has that creative part of his brain that he uses that makes him very unique as a player. I think Josh has all that same stuff. They're very similar personalities. They're very similar intellects. And, from a passing standpoint, they're very similar as well. Aaron's been able to work with Josh a little bit this offseason, teach him some secrets of the craft, so to speak. I think Josh is the perfect kid to learn some graduate level stuff from arguably the best quarterback in the league before he ever gets in the NFL.
So the whole Josh Rosen's a pain in the ass, he's too smart, everything that's being said, you don't give that any weight at all?
No, I think that's a narrative that got started years ago, which was probably true, and Josh would tell you it's true. But it's not who he is now. And I think his pushback, let's just use that term, is a good thing. He's going to challenge people to bring their best. He's a perfectionist, like I talked about with Aaron. He's a guy that wants to be great. He wants everybody around him to be great. He holds them to the same expectations that he holds himself, and he needs to know the why and the what behind everything. That's a good thing in my book. Now, there's a lot of insecure coaches and general managers in this league that don't know how to handle that type of personality. So he's not the right flavor for everybody. I've been using this ice cream analogy a lot, talking about quarterbacks. I mean, I think we'd all agree that ice cream in general is awesome. But I don't like Rocky Road. I like mint chip. So we all have our favorite ice creams, and I think that's what these quarterbacks are. It's what flavor do you like? Do you like that personality, or do you like more laid back, cool vibe Sam Darnold, or do you like the shucks golly gee Josh Allen, or do you like the gritty, fiery, every day's a fist fight Baker Mayfield? They all work, but it depends. Do they work within your system, within your core values and vision as an organization? And I think that's where this discussion lies, really, is in those internal meetings where these guys are having that exact conversation. Like, yeah, we love Josh Rosen's skill set, but we don't want to deal with that type of personality. That's the prerogative. I think coaches should be able to adapt to any personality and see the value in it and see the diamond in the rough of what these kids can be.
That rings true to me. I think that's part of being a great coach. And by the way, you just took me into my childhood there. Loved mint chocolate chip and Rocky Road together. Hot fudge sundae. That was the look for an 8-year-old Mark Harmon. Appreciate you giving me that memory right now, Trent Dilfer.
Banana splits were my thing. Love them.
Who do you go for you then? Is it you going Allen or Baker Mayfield?
I like the ceiling of Josh Allen. I like Baker. I just think that Josh Allen has a uniquely high ceiling. He's Ben Roethlisberger, Andrew Luck, John Elway, all wrapped up into one beautiful athlete. I mean, this kid is special talent. Not just his arm. We're all blown away by his arm, but his athleticism for a big man is ridiculous. He's tough. He's got everything you're looking for 3 years from now as a superstar. It's just going to take time. He just hasn't developed. He hasn't harnessed that power. He just needs to be nurtured and refined a little more before he has an impact in the NFL.
So it sounds like you think a better spot for him would be down in the draft, not immediate expectations. Like maybe he could be the best quarterback, but like to put all that on him, he's not necessarily ready for it.
I want him to go to Denver. I just think it's a match made in heaven. John Elway is the president, a younger version of himself with Case Keenum, the consummate pro, sitting there playing ahead of him. A good team around him. A city that it's a great city, but it kind of fits his MO. I think I grew up in Fireball, California, with 7,500 people, a farming community. He goes to Reedley Junior College, a small environment. Wyoming, plays his college ball in that region, and kind of go to Denver, which isn't like a super high profile market. It's comfortable. He has John Elway as his mentor. I mean, to me, the Denver Josh Allen thing makes much sense.
And what do you think is the best fit for Baker?
He's the one I'm struggling with the most where he fits.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know a ton about what Arizona's doing offensively. I don't have my fastball there like I used to when I was studying every scheme every week. I like him at that part of the draft, 9 to 20, somewhere in there. The expectations don't become too high. Arizona seems to make sense. They need that personality. They need that grit. They need that toughness that Baker brings. I think Baker needs to play in a very controlled West Coast ball out of your hand quick system. He's not the athlete these other guys are. So if he tries to play this athletic roll around, create plays like he did in the Big 12, it's not going to fly in the NFL. We saw that in the second half of the Georgia game when they had the athletes to contain him. He looked pedestrian as a player because he was trying to play that, extend the play football. I think he'd be great if he's brought up like Drew Brees, where it is about you are passing from the pocket on time. Get the ball out of your hand to a better athlete as fast as you possibly can, and you're going to play 15 years at a high level.
What do you think about Lamar Jackson?
I put him in the Josh Allen prospect, not player category. I think he's a very high ceiling prospect that could be fantastic given the right, again, I use this word too much, but nurturing, development, patience, discernment. Let him grow into an NFL passer so he doesn't resort back to being, the best athlete on the field all the time. There's a short tail to that in today's football. We saw it with Colin Kaepernick. We saw it with RG3. When you are dependent upon your athleticism to extend plays too much, your career shortens, for lack of a better term. He needs to grow as a passer. I think he can do that. He has all the want to, all the signs of being able to do it. It just may take a little bit longer.
I really, really, really hope that does not happen to Deshaun Watson. Come back healthy. It's better for the league if that guy's healthy. Trent, do you think at all we overvalue the quarterback? I mean, Nick Foles just won a Super Bowl. He's not exactly what you would call the franchise quarterback. Is there any? Are we putting too much on this? I mean, it's seemingly 4 quarterbacks to go in the first 5 picks.
It's a hard question because I'm a quarterback apologist, but yeah, we probably overvalue it. We think that they are Superman. We think that one guy can single-handedly change the trajectory of the ultimate team game. Now, there are certain people that have the ability to bring out greatness in others, and they play at a higher level, so therefore it seems like they're carrying more of the water. But football at its core a quarterback at its core is a very dependent position. You're dependent upon the system you're in, who blocks for you, who's catching the ball for you, who's calling plays for you, who's running the ball for you, which defense is getting stops for you. So as great as these guys are, and I probably am the biggest quarterback apologist on the planet, I still see an exaggeration of their greatness many times. We devalue the rest of the team and the rest of the coaches by overvaluing the quarterback.
Late round or middle round pick. It seems like you love Luke Falk. Is that about right?
I'm all about Luke Falk. I think this kid, given, again, the right system, he is not a fantastic athlete. He doesn't have outstanding measurables, but he's been a pro since he was 16 years old. I mean, this guy just is growing up with the mentality of being a professional. He does everything at the highest level off the field. He prepares better than anybody. He's meticulous with how he looks at the game, how he studies the game, how he learns the game. I think he should be the heir apparent to Tom Brady now. Bill Belichick has forgotten more football than I'll ever know. But to me, he looks like the next coming of Tom Brady if he's put in, again, a situation that allows his skill set to be emphasized. He's got a lightning quick release. He's a great decision maker. He's going to be a completion junkie. He's going to handle the pocket well. He's going to handle his team well. He's going to handle the pressure well. But he's not going to be a guy that creates offense on his own. That's just not who he is. He's not going to wow you with a rail shot dime into double coverage. He's just not that guy. but he's going to bore you to death with completions and touchdowns.
You're working with Panini today, Trent. Tell us about how you're partnering.
Yeah, super cool. I love this company. I've been working with them for years. I do hardly any of this stuff, but I brag on them all the time. They celebrate the athlete through their trading cards. I remember getting my first trading card. Still get goosebumps thinking about it. And what they're doing now is so super cool because they're doing it in real time. I mean, these kids are going to go across the stage. They're going to shake the commissioner's hand. They're going to get their hat. And in real time, Panini's going to be building a trading card of them. You can see it at icollectpanini.com. Again, it's millions of opportunities to endorse companies. I get every chance I get to endorse Panini, I do, because I know what they do for the athlete. I know how much fun it is for kids to collect cards. And I think all of us are 12-year-olds at heart. And Panini really feeds that 12-year-old in all of us. So it's a great company. It's so cool what they're doing draft night.
I mean, I know I am. We can go back to the Hot Fudge Sunday. What's next for Trent Dilfer?
Just started a project with John Brankus, the Soul and Science project. It's airing on NFL Network. We're all in on our partnership. We're not just going to do football and quarterbacks. We're going to do all athletes. Really celebrate the athlete, do a deep dive into their immeasurable stuff, you know, the science of who they are, but also the immeasurable, their intangible makeup, their stories, what makes them special, kind of their athletic DNA. John's best in the business. I mean, he's actually a legend in the industry, 6 Emmys, couldn't have partnered with a better person, and he's carrying me like the Ravens carried me.
See, I think if you don't get hurt, you win a Super Bowl there, Trent.
It should be fun.
Okay, all right. And by the way, I'm on icollectpanini.com right now. It's sweet, and there's a lot of not just football. You got some NBA stuff rolling here too. Who's winning the NBA title before you roll?
I'm a Warriors guy, man. I grew up in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
Liked him since I was a kid, and you know, Steph and I play golf at the same club, so I'm as big a Warrior fan as you'll find.
Pasa Tiempo, is that your spot?
No, we're Cal Club up in San Francisco.
All
California Golf Club in San Francisco.
Very cool. Trent, great to talk to you. Appreciate the time. Great work with Panini.
All right, buddy. Thanks.
Thank you.